Hi everyone. In this session, I am going to discuss one important interview question: reading the values from the properties file. So, let's. I have a properties file which contains URL, environment URL, username, and password. What I am going to do, I will just read all these values from the properties file and use during execution of my program. So this is most important topic. Basically, in real time, we use or we store username, password, URL in our properties file, and we read from the properties file and use during the execution. How can you do that? Let's start. So I will go to my project. Basically, I will create one properties file. Let's create one package here in src main java. I will create one package. That's the name. I will give properties. Then inside properties package, I will create one file. So I will name it as config.properties. Config.properties. Okay. So what I will do, I am going to put all these values, that is environment URL, username, and password in the properties file, and I will read all these values from this properties file and use during my execution. So let me create one class. The class name is called read from properties file test. Okay, let's create one main method. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will just create one string. I will put the name as path, and basically I will put the path of the properties file. So let me go here, then let me the option, so open. Okay, so let me copy the properties file path. Okay, then I'll just write down config dot properties. Config dot properties. Okay, so okay, then what I'm going to do, I'll write down file input stream file is equal to new file input stream of path. Okay, so I need to declare, I need to add exception. So let me add rows exception. Okay, you need to throw the exception. So then what I'm going to do, I will write down properties. Let's say properties is equal to new properties. Okay, so basically I will use properties class, and I will instantiate that. So the properties class, I will read all the values from the properties file. Basically, how exactly I'm going to do that? So what I'm going to do, properties, there is a method called load. Properties class, there is a method called load. In that load, I will pass file path. Okay, I'll provide file input stream instance or file input stream object. So that it will load the properties. So once it is done, then I am going to read the property. So how exactly I am going to do? I will write on properties dot get property of key. So which key I will do? Let's say I will use all these are keys. So in URL, username, password, all are keys. So through key I will get the value. So what I'm going to do here, I'll put that and it will return a string. So I'll store it into a string, let's say URL is equal to this. Then next I will write down one more string, that is username equal to properties dot get property of username. Okay, so it will return the username. So one more variable, I will declare string password is equal to properties dot get property of password. Okay, so all these things I am going to use during my execution. So what I can do, okay, let's use this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare web driver is equal to new, let's say Firefox driver. Sorry, then I'll write down driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. So I will basically maximize the browser. Then I'll write down driver dot get. So instead of putting a whole URL, what I'm going to do, I will pass the URL which I read from the properties file. Okay, that's how it will open with the particular URL. Open the website with the particular URL. Let's run this. Okay, it is open the browser. Browser got maximized and it entered the URL and perfectly it is open. So now we are going to enter the username and password. Okay, so how we'll go do that? So basically what we'll do, we'll write down one city of fonts. So we'll write down driver dot find element by. So let me capture the username here. So okay, what is that? There is a ID. So I'll capture the ID. So by dot ID. So I'll pass the ID. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to write down the send keys. So here what I'm going to pass, I will pass the username, which I read from the properties file. Okay. Then similarly, driver dot find element by. Then let me get the locator of password. So there is one ID. So it's password. Then I'm going to use by dot ID. So I will pass the ID as a password dot send keys. Then here I will pass the password. That's how we do in the real time. Like we read URL, username, password, all the things from the properties file. So let's run this and we'll check. So what it will do? It will use the it will read the URL, username, password from the properties file and use during our execution. Let's see that. It open the browser, perfectly enter the URL, it enter the username password. Okay. So one thing is missing here, I need to click on the login button also. So let me do that. Somehow that is missing. So what I'm going to do, I will write down driver dot find element by dot id. I will pass the id of the login button, then dot click. Okay, now I'm going to execute this again. Let's see. So we'll see that it will read the value from the properties file and it will log in successfully. Okay. So it opens the URL. Okay, it opens the URL, maximize it, and it enter the URL. To open the browser, maximize it, enter the URL, enter username, password, and click on login button. Perfectly, absolutely working fine. Okay, guys. This way, you can read the value from the properties file and use during your execution. Okay, guys. So that's it for today. I will come up with another new topic in my next session. Till now, take care. Bye bye. Please like it, subscribe it, share with your friends and family. Thank you so much.